In my real estate career, I've tried just about every single method of lead generation out there. In this video, we're going to be ranking them from the worst lead generation methods to the best methods out there. Now, some of these things I've already talked about here on the channel. We're going to go through them in depth. We're going to be spending 30 to 60 seconds talking about each one, and I'm going to give you some thoughts on why it sucks or why it might be the best one out there, especially for you. If you're looking for a new lead generation method that's going to be a way to grow your business consistently, you're probably going to guess that yes, YouTube is number one. I'll just go ahead and throw it out there. Yes, YouTube is number one on my list as the best lead generation resource. And I think it's something that everybody should implement. If you haven't watched my channel before, my name's Cody STECK. I'm the YouTube Realtor. I've used YouTube in my own real estate business to grow to over $1 million in commissions in just the last 2.5 years, just from YouTube leads. That's not even my other business. That's not my investment business. That's not anything else that I'm getting. That's strictly just people who contact me from my YouTube videos about my local channel. So that being said, YouTube has been very good to me. It's been something that's, obviously brought me a lot of success, and it's something that I'm very passionate about, and that's why I'm making these videos. So first up on our list, we're going to talk about the worst type of lead generation technique out there, and that's got to be cold calling, right? Cold calling is kind of one of the worst things out there because really you're just basically getting a list of people. Hopefully the list is a little bit dialed in, but in most cases it's probably not. And you're basically just calling saying, hey, this is Cody STECK. I'm a real estate agent in your area, just looking if you know anybody who wants to buy or sell real estate, right? You're kind of just hoping to get lucky that somebody's like, oh yeah, I was wondering about that. Let me try and do something, right? So it's a great way to make contacts, but at any given time, I would guess there's probably only 1 to 3% of the population who's actually looking at making a move or selling a home in the near future, right? So it's pretty low chances. You're gonna have to make a lot of calls and talk to a lot of people just to find a couple good leads. And unfortunately, it's not really the best use of your time. And that leads us into our next one on our list here, which is circle prospecting. Circle prospecting is going to be very similar to cold calling, but you do have a little bit more dialed in list. You're basically just calling all of the homes in a surrounding area around hopefully one of your own listings, right? You say, hey, this is Cody. I'm calling about this listing. It's one that we just put on the market. You live in the neighborhood. I'm wondering if you know anybody who wants to buy it or if you know anybody else who wants to sell in this neighborhood. So that's at least a little bit more of a dialed in list, but still not one of the best options out there. That's why it only makes number 12 here on our list. Let's jump into number 11, and that's got to be door knocking, right? Door knocking, again, it's just very, very untargeted, right? And it's not a very good use of your time. As soon as you stop door knocking, you're going to stop being able to generate new leads. The other problem with door knocking is it takes a lot of time. So you do get the advantage of being face to face with somebody, but when it takes so much time, you might only be able to hit 50, 100, maybe 150 houses in a day, and the conversion rate on that is going to be pretty low. Now, I should mention that with all of these methods, of course, they all do work. People do get business from every single one of these methods. However, I'm in the business of trying to get as much business as possible for as little amount of time or effort as possible, as well as just not having to go through that uncomfortable situation of getting doors slammed in your face and getting hung up on every 5 seconds. So that being said, these things do work. I do know people in the business who are crushing it with each one of these methods. However, I have my own opinion on which one is going to be best. So door knocking reaches number 11 on our list here. Number 10, we're going to be talking about for sale by owners. Now, I've tried calling for sale by owners and it absolutely sucked, right? You call these people, they don't want to talk to you. They're absolutely pissed. They're already on guard and they've got an ego when you call them, right? I don't know about you guys, but that's been my general experience. And you really have to go through this strong sales process in order to just get a meeting with them. And unfortunately for me, I kind of look at it as like, hey, if somebody's selling for sale by owner, it's probably because they don't want to work with an agent. So therefore, why would I be calling them as an agent, right? To me, that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And that's why I don't do FSBOs. And that's why I think it's, number 10 on our list of, the worst lead generation methods. Next up on our list is going to be number 9, which is going to be direct mail. Now, I think that direct mail is kind of like cold calling. It's a little bit easier and it can also leverage your time a little bit better. That's why it ranks higher on our list here today. You can basically go out there, create a template, a flyer, a letter, something that you want to send to a certain amount of people. And you can basically just print off 500 of those. Or even now there's websites where you can just go type in the information you want on a website, give them a list of addresses, and they'll just go and put it out there for you, right? So you can kind of just click a couple buttons online and send out numerous letters or flyers. It is going to cost you money to do this, so obviously there's a downside to that, but it is much quicker than cold calling. However, it's basically just a letter in the mail, right? I don't know about you guys, but most of my mail, unless it's something super important, it basically goes straight into the trash, right? I might look at it for 3 seconds, but for me, the chances of like calling somebody on one of those flyers is actually pretty low. So yes, it does work, but you're gonna have to be sending out a lot of mail in order to find success with it. unfortunately, that means that it's going to be costing you a lot of money. So that's why it reaches number 9 on our list here today. Now, number 8 is going to be expired listings. I don't know about you guys, but calling expired listings is very similar to calling for sale by owners. However, it ranks higher on our list today because it's actually a better way to go out there and get business, right? These people have already had their home listed on the market with another agent, and unfortunately that home did not sell, right? So at least they have some motivation. At least they're willing to work with a realtor. But, unfortunately they're facing that reality of like, hey, our home didn't sell, which either means we need to change something like the pictures or the staging, or ultimately it's the price, right? Everything always comes down to price. If the price gets low enough, there's going to be a buyer for the home, no matter how weird or how many problems that house might have. So something to kind of keep in mind there. Expired reaches number 8 on our list here. I don't think it's the best one, but it's not the worst for sure. But let's continue on our list here. So number 7 is going to be networking events. Now, networking events I think are actually pretty decent because you're going to be likely doing something that you enjoy, right? And I kind of include networking events, not just, going to parties and just going to these different, social hours or happy hours or whatever it is. I actually consider networking events to be things like, getting out there on the ski resort, right? Or going golfing with a client, or doing something that where you're actually networking with somebody in person and, talking business, talking life, talking family, and trying to pick up, some business from that due to the relationship that you put together. So it can be one-on-one, it can be 1 to, 5, maybe you're in a small group, or maybe it's in a big group, right? You do go to a social event and you're networking and you meet people and you're exchanging business cards and whatever, that can work. So it reaches number 7 on our list because it is face-to-face. A lot of people are not going to like this because you do have to be quite extroverted and quite charismatic, in my opinion, in order to find a lot of success with it. But it does work. If you have that type of personality, you can probably find a lot of success with this. Now, number 6 and number 5 on our list here are going to be pretty similar, but I wanted to break them out because I've actually had different experiences with both of them. Number 1 is going to be Facebook ads. The Facebook ads, and I should clarify, that means it's number 6 on our list here. Number 5 is going to be Google pay-per-click. So number 6, Facebook ads, I put this at number 6 because it does work and it can give you a pretty decent ROI. I used to do a lot of Facebook ads back in the day before I started doing YouTube, and I got it down to a science where I basically knew that for every $800 to $900 I spend in ads, in an advertising, I would be able to get a closed transaction out of that. So, right, if you're making a $10,000 check, you're going to spend about, let's just say $1,000, right, to round it off. You're going to spend $1,000 to make a $10,000 commission. Not a bad return when it's 10x. However, it's all of the work and the, organization that goes into all of the other aspects of Facebook ads, right? It takes time to put the ads together. You're constantly having to watch them and adjust them to make sure they're working and getting rid of the ones that are not working. And then you have tons of lead follow-up, right? It's just like cold calling. It's just like circle prospecting. You're making, 50 to 100 calls every single day to these leads and doing a ton of follow-up with them. And generally speaking, they're pretty low quality leads, unfortunately. So it does work. It does give you a pretty good ROI, but it's going to be a lot of work in the meantime. At number 5, that one actually ranks a little bit higher, Google pay-per-click ads. These are going to be very similar to Facebook. However, these people are actually searching with intent. The problem with Facebook is people are just scrolling through the newsfeed, looking at, what's coming up on their newsfeed, and they might stop and look, oh yeah, homes for sale, that's kind of cool. Let me check that out, right? And then they're going to click off, right? So you might capture their information, but there's not really an intent behind them looking at it. However, with Google, they're actually searching for this type of information, which is going to, show you that they have a higher intent and they're actually probably a better quality lead. I'd probably also link, other services in here as well, probably like Zillow and Realtor.com. I would consider those to be online paid advertising resources. Those are probably equivalent to Google ads in my opinion. They're going to be extremely expensive, but they can be worth it. I know people who are spending 5 or even 6 figures every single month on these different resources. So it can get pretty crazy. It can cost a lot of money, but you're going to get a huge ROI. It's just going to be a lot of work in the meantime. Again, for your average person, I don't think it's worth the cost that's going to go into it. All right, now we're getting to the really juicy stuff here on our list. We're going to be down to the last 4 lead generation methods that I think are the most critical and what everybody needs to do because they're the best options out there. So number 4 on our list is going to be Instagram and TikTok. Now I've kind of grouped these two together because they both kind of fall into that social media world, but they're not quite the same as YouTube or some of these other ones we're going to talk about here in just a second. So it does fall into that social media. The great thing about both of these is that it's free to use. It doesn't cost you anything to go out there and make an Instagram post or make a TikTok, but you can go viral and you can get a lot of clicks and a lot of attention very, very easily. I've got a couple friends who are pretty big on TikTok and they're doing, 10,000 views, 100,000 views. I've even got a buddy who did a 1 million view video not too long ago on TikTok. So You can go viral pretty quickly, and that can get you a lot of exposure. However, again, kind of like with Facebook ads, these people are not really going to be in high intent in most cases. Now, they might be following you, they might be interested in your journey, and so you might get people who are kind of in your network who will follow you and then see your stuff, and you could consider that to be an Instagram lead, for instance, but they're not always the highest intent people, and that's why they've reached number 4 on our list here today. Number 3 on our list, we're going back to one of the old school methods of lead generation. We're going to be talking about open houses. Open houses can be one of the best resources out there. The thing I love about open houses is it's not actually a way to sell the home that you're trying to sell. It's actually a way for you to get business. That's why agents sit in these open house homes, because anybody who walks through that door is a high quality lead. Anybody who takes the time to be out there driving around, stop their day and go look at a house has a very high likelihood of being somebody who's actually going to make a purchase. Or perhaps it's a neighbor who comes walking through the home. Maybe they're looking at selling, right? They're going to tell you that, oh yeah, we're just looking, we're just nosy, whatever. But there's probably a pretty good chance that they're going to be looking at actually buying or selling themselves, or they know somebody who wants to be in that neighborhood. There's a lot of different ways to kind of approach that. The cool thing about open houses as well is that a lot of people, a lot of buyers I've noticed will actually go to open houses before they even have an agent. So there's a high likelihood that these people will not yet be represented, and that's going to give you a leg up on being able to capture their business. Now let's talk about number 2 here on our list, which is going to be SOI, referrals, and past clients. Now I've kind of grouped all of these together because I think they all fall into the same bucket. And there's a lot of people who go out there and work strictly on their SOI, referrals, past clients, all of that stuff, right? And it can be extremely effective. When you really get it dialed in, when you're following up with your past clients, you're keeping in touch with these people, if they really like you, trust you, and know that you're going to be the person to get the job done when it comes to real estate, they're going to send business your way. I've picked up numerous deals over the past couple of years from my referrals, from past clients who I basically just said, hey, here's what I do. I make videos on YouTube. People know where to find me. They like my content. They know that I'm being consistent with it, and they're going to continue to send business to me. So that's a great thing about this. SOI, referrals, and past clients are extremely effective. The conversion rate is extremely high, which also makes it a huge bonus. And yeah, that's why it reaches number 2 on our list here today. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about number 1 on our list, which is YouTube. If you haven't heard it before here on my channel, maybe you're new to the channel, this is your first time watching, I've talked about YouTube at length here on the channel, and there's a couple things that I really love about this. One, it's free. It costs absolutely nothing to go out there and film a video, right? You can do it with your phone. You don't have to buy any fancy equipment. You can just start with your phone, start creating content, and start putting it out there. So number 1, it's free. Number 2, it's going to be evergreen, right? I've got videos on my channels that I put out over 3 years ago that are still pulling in leads today, right? I've got one video in particular on my channel that pulls in about 50 to 100 views every single day. And I know that's bringing people into my ecosystem. That's one of the first videos people see of me, and then they go on and watch my other videos. So getting, if you understand the YouTube algorithm, getting somebody into that network, into your system is one of the most important parts. So they see that first video. As soon as they click on that and watch it, they're going to get recommended your other videos, and they have a high likelihood of checking that out. So it can be evergreen. You create the video. It might take you, let's say, 3 hours to create that today, but you put it out there and it's going to continue to work for you 24/7, night after night. It's going to work for you 365, and it's going to work for you years into the future, right? If you do it the correct way, it can be evergreen, and it, theoretically might never die. Number 3 on our list on why I think YouTube is one of the best lead generation resources out there is these people are searching with extremely high intent. They want to know what it's like to live in your area. They want to know what real estate is doing, and they're looking for this information actively. That's one thing I love about YouTube is people are literally searching in the exact keywords of what my video is named. So it gives me a very good chance to get in front of them. And number 4 on our list is that YouTube allows me to be able to build value and give that value back to somebody before they ever reach out to me. I've had people who've watched my videos for over 2 years before reaching out to me. They say, hey, I've been watching you since 2020. I'm interested in moving to your area. Can you please help me, right? So I've had people who've been watching consistently for a very long amount of time, and they already know me, they like me, and they trust me. And so it's an easy sell. These are high quality leads that are coming through, and it's basically, hey, I pick up the phone. Hey, let's work together. Okay, awesome. Yeah, here's what we're going to do. I walk them through that process, and then it's an easy sell to get them to the closing table. So that's one of the best things about YouTube. And, these 4 different reasons together kind of group, together exactly why I think YouTube is the best lead generation method out there. If you're interested in learning more about what you can do to grow your business using YouTube, make sure to check out the links in the description box below. You can schedule a call with me one-on-one. I'd love to also talk to you about joining us over here at Real Broke, where we can provide one-on-one support to help you along in your real estate estate journey. Whether you're looking to build a YouTube channel or you're looking to do any of these other lead generation methods, we'd love to help you along that journey. So with that being said, make sure to check out those links down below. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next one.